Hello everyone, welcome. In this episode, we are going to learn how to use file system in Node.js. That means how to read a file using Node.js or how to read and write a file using Node.js. Okay, if you want to read in a very detail, this is the documentation of the file system. Here we can do all different kind of operation on file system. That means creating a file, writing a file, creating a directory, writing a file, and lot of other operations. So let's do a very basic operation. That's what reading a file. Okay, and to read a file there are two options in the Node.js. The one of the option is what? Read file, and the second option is what? Read file sync. Okay, so let's start from the scratch and let's implement this program from the scratch. Then I will explain you what is the difference between read file and read file sync. Okay, so let's begin. I'm creating a one program called hello fs. Okay, this is the fs module we are going to use. So now let's open this module. I'm not going to make any changes in our last program. Okay, so what we are going to do, let's open a folder. Open. Where is my program? Okay, hello fs. So it is a blank project. There is nothing in this project. So what we have to do, we will initialize our project. How? By opening a terminal. Either we can do it from the bottom left panel, or what you can do, you can click on the terminal and new terminal. Okay, let's do what? npm init. Okay, what we are going to do, we are going to use a file system menu, file system modules, src. Let's create a file. Okay, my file name is what? Okay, main.js, a very simple program. And let's start from here. Console.log hello fs. Okay, that's a very basic. Okay, we can run this program to check node src main.js. So we have done in a standalone. Now what we want, I want to read a file. To read a file we are going to use what? Require fs. Fs is what? Fs is a module. What module? File system module. That's a internal module. We are not installed using npm install command. Now next, okay, let's create a function. Let's suppose my function name is what? Read file demo. Why we have created a function? Read file demo, and we can write like this. This is an example of arrow function that we have declared to a one reference variable. Why I've created a function? I just want to write all our logic inside this function related with what? Reading a file. Okay, let's read file. And to read a file, now let's call this function before that, before doing any logical operations. So till now we have not done anything. Let's read a file. To read the file, we are going to use the method fs.readFile. Here there are two options, read file and read file sync. Okay, so let me write here read file and fs.readFile sync. Okay, so what is the difference between them? So this method is non-blocking, and it takes, and how does it become non-blocking? By taking, it takes callback. Okay, and this is what? Blocking in nature. What does mean blocking in nature? Means what? It will block the execution of the program until the file has been read. The next line will not be executed, and this is what? Non-blocking, and you can say this is asynchronous in nature. Okay, so let's do one by one. So this one is very simple to learn this file, because this is very conventional. And here this method takes a parameter. The first parameter is the path. That means which file you want to read. Let's suppose I want to read this file, package.json, and I can copy the path, copy the relative path, and if I can come here, Okay, copy path, let's suppose. Okay, this is the path. Or what I will do, I will write this in a separate variable. This is the path of the, and what you have to do, we need to pass here something. Since it is a text file, we have to pass the information UTF encoding is equal to UTF-8 to read this file. What it will do, this method returns. Since it is a synchronous method, it executes in a one after another. So this is the output we are getting, fs.read file sync. That's very simple to use. Output, we can see the output. What we can do, we can either run or debug the program. Let's open the terminal by clicking here. Okay, I mean to say here, and go to the terminal section, and let's run src main.js, and now you can see the content of the file output. Or what we can do, we can go to the debug section. What we can do, let's put a debug point in our method, where in some logical section, line number 4, let's debug the program. Node.js, what we can see, we can go and we can read the output. Okay, so this was the example how to read a file using read file sync method. Now let's do the same program using what? Let read file asynchronously. Okay, and how we do that? By using callback. That means what? fs.read file. So you might be thinking, why we are trying to learn this? Why? Okay, because this is non-blocking. If you are reading a very large file, this method will be very useful in terms of performance and in terms of performance and in terms of optimizations. Okay, because this is non-blocking, this will not block. Why? Because this is callback. This is taking callback. So once the file is getting read, it takes what? It takes the callback is getting executed. That's the functionality. That's the basic about the callback. Okay, so what it does, so this method this method doesn't return anything. Okay, so what if I want to print the value, if I want to get the output, how to get that? Like this, path, and again I will write here encoding UTF-8. And what is the third parameter? If you look at the method signature here, how does the method signature look? It takes a path, that means whatever the file you want to read. The second is the some options, and the third one is what? This one is the callback. So this method doesn't return output like this, const. We cannot, the way we have written, not like that. Why? Because this is running asynchronously. This is non-blocking. So what we have to do here, we have to call a callback. Okay, and this callback takes two parameter. If you look the method carefully, this callback method takes two parameter. One is the error, and the second is what? Data. Okay, so why we are using this method? Okay, now we can see here, we can print the data, and now let's run this program. Okay, we can put a debug point here, and since it is the asynchronous method, we need to put a separate debug point at line number 17. Let's run and debug the program. Node.js. So now we know how to run, how to read a file synchronously, and how to read a file asynchronously. What is the advantage with the second one? Why we are interested in this one? Because of the performance region. This is more performant. Okay, now I need to create a separate problem with this. Now let's suppose we have a requirement that I want to read a two file. Okay, okay, I'm calling this file 1. I want to read a two file, and I want to read the second file after the first file. Getting my point? Okay, so what we have to do? That means what? Since this is asynchronous in nature, we cannot write the things here. because both are asynchronous in nature. Let's suppose here in the package.json, I want to read also one another program. Let's get another file here, not here, test.txt, and hello world, right? I'm writing in this, and let's go to the main.js, and I want to write, also want to read text.txt. So since this program is asynchronous in nature, if I run this program here, node src and main.js. Okay, since path is okay already defined, so let's change the path. What you can see that the output of the second file has come before. Why? This can come in any order. If I run the program again, the output might be changed, the order might change. Okay, that is what this output is coming before the first one. Why? Because both are asynchronous in nature. And what do we want? If we want to make both the programs synchronous, one after another, I want to read, let's suppose I want to read this program, the second file, okay, after the first file. How to do that? You might be thinking what we can do here. That's the correct way also. What we have done, we have written inside the callback. To execute, to read both the file one after another. And now let's read this program. And if you run this program, what we'll see, hello world, package.data. Okay, let's call this one data1, and run the program. Now you can see the content of the second file is coming after the first file. But what is the problem with this program? The problem with this program is now the program looks little messy because we are writing something inside the callback. Okay, the program looks little cluttered, and this will become even more cluttered if you want to read another file after the second file. Second problem, the error management becomes a little difficult, very difficult. And the third, it is very difficult to return the output from the callback. So these are the three difficulties when we are using what? Callback inside a callback, and if you are using another callback inside the callback. So that means if the callbacks are in a loop, that's very big, and managing becomes very difficult. So how to solve this problem? Which will solve this problem in our next session. Okay, thank you for watching. In this episode, what we have done, we have read a file both synchronously and asynchronously, but we have created another problem when you are using the method asynchronously. Okay, thank you one more time. We'll solve this problem in our next episode. Bye bye.